Just ramping up. We're so close to champs at this point. Maybe something wild's gonna happen. I can smell it. I'm fired up.
All sport, all star, all pro.
Scraps is lighting up with his twin brother Wuskin.
Lovely shots from Scraps.
What an individual play. It's the Octane Clinic.
Players, it looks like they're going to win them the round over. Is it Octane? Octane.
And they're pushing down bottom. He finds two.
And it's Slasher. And suddenly the sweep comes in from OpTic. A clean 5-man wipe.
The likes of the Mutineers, and the shots are there from Skies. A lovely two from him. This is disgusting.
What will next home series bring?
See my team, we never settle. Keep that pedal to the metal till we get that golden medal.
You gotta find a way to deal with Kismet. He's too good right now. He's too good.
And he is nasty.
Dawn from Vivid. What a shot that was on a Methods. Gets it done in the end. Vivid's still alive. What a run this is from the young man.
Attach lights it up.
You can't kill him. He's still alive.
Subliners just dominate this final.
Shotzi, dude's cracked out. He's just gonna be flying as fast as possible.
Shotzi goes massive.
This guy continues to get better, doesn't he?
We've got another event. There's still a chance to get points, but it's getting very close. We're really coming towards the end of the season. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Call of Duty League London home series. It is Championship Sunday, and we are down to our final four. However, only one will be able to call themselves champion after the day does conclude. It is set to be a fantastic day, and we could not be more excited to bring you all the action. I'm Lando alongside my guys. We got Study and Nameless. Boys, how we feeling coming into to Championship Sunday? Study, I'll start with you.
Oh man, yesterday was just all over the place, upset central, and I couldn't believe it, man. There's so much action yesterday. Cannot wait to see what Championship Sunday has to bring.
100%. Nameless, how you feeling, buddy?
It was a wild Saturday, right? From start to finish. We have teams like Florida getting tested. We have teams like New York getting knocked out, our most recent champions. And Paris surprising everybody off the words of Mama Zed, just giving them that passion to get through Saturday. So it's going to be an exciting Sunday for sure.
Absolutely. We talked about CDL Sunday. Let's go and pop up our bracket just to kind of get more well acquainted with the action coming in for today. But again, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a crazy one. A lot of teams that maybe some people did not expect. But of course, we've got the Royal Ravens facing off against the Legion in the top semifinal. Empire and the Mutineers toward the bottom side. Again, two teams in the Ravens and the Legion that we have not seen at a CDL Sunday in a while. This is the first time we've seen London on a Sunday since Seattle, which is back in late May. And this is the first time for the Paris Legion that they've been in a CDL Sunday since February at the very first London home series. It is crazy to think about. Study, when we look at our schedule coming in for today, which of course is presented by the U.S. Army, is the meta possibly causing a few of these crazy results?
Oh, definitely. You know, a whole lot of meta changes are making these teams either better or worse. And you can just tell for the Paris Legion, they've definitely stepped up their game. They're even in all slaying modes. Yesterday, They were able to keep up with each other, being consistent. That S&D game mode for me was beautiful the way that they played it. They've definitely been doing their homework, and I feel like this meta change has definitely helped them.
100%, right? And it was as we kind of take a look a little bit through our top four. Was there a team in particular that you were very surprised that maybe is missing from our Final Four here today on Sunday?
It absolutely has to be New York for me. They were lights out on the Sunday where they won their own home series. They were dominant. Every single player was performing. And just the way they came out here kind of flat and really just underwhelming is extremely surprising to me. The way that they lost, not necessarily just that they lost, the way that they lost was shocking. I definitely expected them to get to another final, but, falling out like that, it could just be, they were super confident going in, maybe underestimated a few teams and get knocked out, but that's a sour taste leaving your mouth going into champs.
100%. And I know we kind of talked about a few surprises, a few kind of interesting pieces coming into what will be possibly the CDL Game Day presented by Game Fuel Finals. But regardless, one team that we're not surprised to see in this current state is the Florida Mutineers, right? I mean, the hype around this team has been very, I guess you could say very well welcomed. It's been totally understandable to see this roster. But Study, I got to ask you, man, can they do the three-peat? Something that we have hardly, if ever, seen recently in Call of Duty Esports history. It has only happened by a few lineups, and a majority of them are dynasty teams. Can Florida, though, can they do this?
I think Florida definitely has a chance at doing it. We're talking about a team that's consistent in basically every single game mode. That series versus the London Royal Ravens, where they ended up getting reverse sweep, I think was their wake-up call. They went into that next series versus OpTic Gaming, and they handled business in a 3-1 fashion. Now, the only thing is, yesterday Havoc was kind of playing inconsistent. If he's able to step up today, then they should definitely be in championship form again.
I mean, absolutely. We were kind of talking a little bit in the pre-show, guys, about, the way that Florida have looked as we kind of saw our home series winners there, but I mean, a majority of a lot of that success, if you will, is this is kind of their third straight CDL Sunday, could be their third straight final, if not victory. I mean, what enables? We saw the big three, if you will, Pharaoh, Awakening, and Skies, finish off with a 1.4 in their last series. These guys have adjusted to the meta, and their top slayers are continuing to do dominant things.
Yeah, those guys are incredible. The last time these guys played Dallas, they won 3-1, and it was those players who were going off. Those are the 3 stars in this team who continuously just light it up. And where they've become a little bit weaker at Hardpoint, they're starting to get tested and beat on some Hardpoint maps. And, Skies and Pharaoh are still both frying on those maps. Awakening as well. It's really going to be on Frosty and Havoc's shoulders to step it up and utilize the kills that they're getting, because they've lost a few Hardpoints where Pharaoh and Skies have put up some big numbers. So that's going to be important for them to improve, but these guys are absolutely a superstar trio. I mean, look at those stats. They speak for themselves. They're unreal, man.
They absolutely are, right? The tenacious trio is absolutely a thing. Pharaoh, a 1.35. That is solid, to say the least, folks. If you're new to Call of Duty Esports, that is not exactly a common thing to see. But
you don't ever see that.
One thing we have to talk about, though, in light of the tenacious trio, is the team that actually did manage to take them down. Now, Study, you and I had the cast for this. It was Florida versus the London Royal Ravens, the home team for this event. Florida goes up 2-0. London on Dom St. Petro, a mode that they don't really feel comfortable on, managed to take down a 9-1 roster on this. How great was London in the reverse sweep?
Oh man, it was beautiful. They didn't get overwhelmed with everything that was going on. They ended up losing a 0K, which previously they were 3-win spree on versus the Florida Mutineers. Then they move on to that search and destroy, lose that. But I thought the series was going to be done. Then they needed a player to step up drastically, and that's exactly what Dylan did towards the end of that domination. Yeah. He ended up going on a 10-kill spree, just being a nuisance in that kitchen area, picking up all the kills that he needed to do to make sure his team was able to win that map. In the beginning of that series, Shanny wasn't really having a good series. He's always going to be the X factor for me on this team. Then when we go to map 4, he was winning such big gunfights versus Frosty on those rotations, and then I called it. Once it went to that game 5 on Arklov Peak, every time I watch the Ravens play, they just have such a flawless A push, and you also have Wuskins with a dirty sniper, always hitting his shots, and it was just a beautiful series out of them.
Oh, it 100% was, right? We got to see them complete the reverse sweep, not a super common thing, but the Scottish construction man, as he's been labeled, Shanny, has been dominant. I know, obviously, Study kind of talked about it a little bit, how he's kind of been the X factor for this London team, but Nameless, I know you've hit on it. He's been a lot of the game fuel keys to victory for the Ravens.
Yeah.
How influential is he today coming into this match?
He's huge going into this match, right? Like, he can be the player that sets them apart. Scraps has really started to play, like the Scraps of old, the player who can take over games and dominate. So if Shanny can step it up alongside him, their team will be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, you got to think Dylan yesterday on that domination, just going on that spree, turning the series around for his squad. His confidence is going to be through the roof. These guys will be on point. It's going to be up to Shanny to start performing, because a 0.58, like he had in their last series, isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be enough. Well, we got to talk about the team they're facing off against, right? To kind of set off our championship Sunday, it is going to be the Paris Legion. Again, I mean, the definition of a Cinderella story. As we talked about it, they have not seen a CDL Sunday since February. Since the very first London home series, it has been a ton of time since they've got here. But I will say, much like we are shocked, I think it's fair to say the entire community is shocked as well. As we take a look at the bracket challenge, 0.2% of people in the fan bracket challenge. That is 4 people, Nameless, that managed to predict the Legion coming out of this one. And I think it's basically Mama Zed and maybe a few others, you think?
Yeah, Mama Zed and 3 Mama Zed burner accounts. So that had them winning. But yeah, it's wild, man. They have an opportunity here as well. I mean, you think about a semifinal, it's like there could be harder teams to play than London Royal Ravens in a semifinal, just being honest, right? And so they can definitely have a chance here at making a grand final.
They do. And we got to talk about the lifeblood of the Legion, right? It is not just the players, but it's also maybe a few family members, as we'll pull up our Astro Social soundboard. Shout out to Mama Bear. It is Zed's mom, who basically comes at, Maven and Merc yesterday, saying, eat your words, Paris Legion, as they predicted LAG to take them down. Zed, ends up responding to his mom and essentially says, Mom, listen, we got to prove ourselves first. Listen, I appreciate the support, but, in some ways, we got to prove ourselves first. So then Mama Zed ends up responding back to good old Zed, and she basically kind of gives him a little bit of confidence, if you want to say it. She says, then just bloody do it then. Too much pressure here for us all at home. I mean, I love to see it. You love to see the hype coming in from the parents, obviously, out there, but she was not done, right? She has continued to strike. Astro Gaming even tweets at Mama Zed and says, don't mess with Mama Bear, and she responds back and says, you can bet on that. You can bet that you're not supposed to mess with me. And then she hit on us today, right? I mean, she's not stopping. She is just full on a social media mastermind. She tweets at all 3 of us today. So unfortunately, she left your ad out because she was so fired up. But tweets at us and says, didn't want you guys to feel left out. You were all wrong in your prediction of Paris pretty much taking down New York. We all had New York winning that, but Study, how great is it to see Mama Zed fire back and maybe giving some confidence to the Legion?
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful sight to see, man. Your parents are sitting there watching every single one of your matches. I know for Zed, it's kind of embarrassing that your mom is tweeting back to you on Twitter, getting involved with everything. But just overall, having that passion from your parents, having Zed, having that fire, knowing, my parents are watching, I want to be able to put on a show, it's probably giving him an extra chip on his shoulder.
I think so, man. I gotta say, though, it's a blast. I mean, we see so many different parents kind of get involved in social media. A lot of the moms are always great, but again, we gotta kind of reference back, as much fun as it is, we gotta kind of take a little bit of a scope in terms of what we're looking at right now. We'll go and pull up our CDL points presented by Game Fuel to kind of put in perspective what exactly this match means, because as we talk about it, all of this is in reference to playoffs and the champs weekend. Nameless, based on the teams that we've got left, based on the teams that maybe aren't even in this event, how influential are these last 3 matches going to be?
This is huge. This is the Legion's last homestand before champs. OpTic Gaming and Ultra are right on their heels for that 8th place spot. Both of them are going to be at the Toronto home series, and they play each other first round. So if OpTic wins that game, they'll be right there with Legion. Yeah. So Legion needs to win this series if they want to give themselves some comfort, right? Because if they don't, they'll likely end up outside of that top 8. So this is huge. Their backs are against the wall. If Legion are able to come out here and win this, that'll be massive for points and seeding for champs, which means everything for the year. Expect these guys to put it all out there, put everything on the line, and go 110%.
I mean, absolutely, right? It has to be the biggest thing to kind of point out right now. Like you said, there are a lot of teams. We've even seen teams like the Subliners, teams like the Guerrillas, talking on, hey, this could be your last series, and that same presence needs to be felt for the Legion right now. By no means can they feel super confident about their position, because when you're kind of hanging on that winner bracket, losers bracket side, it can get a little bit scary. But kind of in reference to you as well, Study, we talked about the Legion, what this series means. I mean, do you think that they have, which we'll kind of get into predictions a little bit later here in just a moment, but kind of big factors, things to look out for, Legion, can they do this? What do you think needs to be the key factor for them?
I think their key factors are search and destroy. We saw Kismet being that island player yesterday, just making no individual plays. You also saw Zed with the submachine gun, not being nervous, not playing without pressure. He was running right up middle map yesterday versus the Subliners on that same Petro, just playing really confident. If they're able to bring that versus the London Royal Ravens, it should be fine.
All right, I love to do it. Love to set it up. It's time for the Game Fuel keys to victory. Obviously, Nameless, you wrote these up. These are absolutely fantastic, especially considering all the hype coming around it. But hey, set it up, right? Game Fuel keys to victory first for the Paris Legion.
Yeah, Luca and Dens to continue that AR dominance is allowing the SMGs to make plays and take control. When they were in their drought, everybody was underperforming. The SMGs weren't able to get into positions of power. And now that Luca and Dens are stepping up, you can see it right there. Luca versus New York had a 1.35. Dens versus LAG with a 1.41. When your AR players are stepping up like that, it's going to open up the lanes. We've seen Zed have some big maps. Kismet have some big maps. This is huge for the squad. And they need to turn up in the hard points here because their search and destroy, it's been pretty good. Let's be honest, it's been lights out. Their domination, they've won by some pretty big spreads. So if they can turn up in this map on Hardpoint, they have a very good chance at getting the lead in this series.
That's for sure, man. Like I said, you cannot count out the Legion as much as we want to kind of talk about Legion a lot. We also do have to talk about the home team, right? The roster that's kind of preferred when it comes down to this matchup, at least based off of the bracket challenge predictions. But nameless, the game fuel keys to victory now for London.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say that London Royal Ravens are the better team across the board, unequivocally in Hardpoint. It's going to come down to the search and destroy for me. That's where Paris have really excelled, this weekend. They've been winning that game to search, and their domination has been going their way as well, so they've been finding themselves in a good position. If the Royal Ravens are able to take that search and destroy, it'll put Legion in a very bad spot. So come with a completely different look. The Legion have been prepared. They've been talking about how prepared they are, how much research they have done. Might not be the best thing to do talking about how much research you've done on teams, but if London Royal Ravens come with a completely different look, it could throw Legion off.
Oh man, it's going to be fun, right? We've kind of set the stage. We've set the storyline for CDL Sunday. Of course, our first semifinal match getting ready to come up. And one of my favorite things to do is to ask you guys your predictions. Of course, these are our predictions brought to you by Sony's Xperia smartphone. Study, are you going to be going with the Cinderella story and the Paris Legion, or are you going with the home team here?
Okay, well, Mama Zed has to have a kind of spell on us or something, because every time we choose against them, they get the win. So that's exactly what I'm going to do again. I'm going London 3-1. They're just a well-rounded team all around. X-Factors and Wuskins, X-Factors and Shanny if he's able to step up as well. Looking at the maps that we have during this series, I'm definitely going to stay with London in 3-1.
Nameless, are you making Mama Zed proud?
I'm going to echo that. I think Royal Ravens are going to go 3-1. I'm not making her proud, but she should be happy. Every time we picked the opposite team, they've won.
It's true.
But I'm going to go Royal Ravens 3-1. I think that Legion come out here and they win the domination. That's the mode they win, and then they lose in Game 4.
Oh, boys. All right, guys. As much as I would like to maybe give some props to Mama Zed and kind of go on that camp, I'm going with I'm going to be going with London here. As much as difficult as it would be for me to kind of call it the Legion here and kind of bring up how much I would like for them to walk away with this, I'm going to be going with the Ravens. I think they win it in a Game 5. I got confidence in them. I think that they have the ability to do it, but hey, you never know. It is CDL Sunday. Anything can happen, but like we said, Game 1 is getting ready to fire up. It should be a blast to witness. But Nameless, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in a bit, buddy.
Enjoy, guys. Have fun.
Absolutely. Well, Study, it is our first Championship Sunday, our first cast together. It is going to be an absolute banger, as the kids like to say. It's the Battle of Europe. We've got to watch it before, but Hardpoint Gunrunner, what are your thoughts coming into this one in particular? How big is this kind of for the Legion, if you would say that?
This is huge for the Legion because, first of all, London is sitting at a 7-3 record on this map, and the Paris Legion are 3-5. So if they're able to come out and win this map 1, going into map 2, it's going to be Arc Love Peak Search and Destroy. And every time I think of that map, I just think of Wuskin's Sniper and their deadly A-push at that A-bomb site. So if they are not able to win this first map, it's going to be pretty hard to bounce back in map number 2.
It definitely will, of course. Like you said, feel free to let us know your predictions, your thoughts on social media, along with on the YouTube chat. Feel free to let us know your thoughts, as it's going to be an exciting one. Like we said, the Battle of Europe is officially in play. We're starting things off with our man Scraps finding a kill off the break, and a second one nearly coming about. No good. Legion, regardless, though, they hold the spawns.
This is beautiful. They're just picking up a lot of this P1 hill time. You see Zero playing that bathroom area, just being that nuisance. If they're able to flip these spawns here pretty soon, picking up a lot of time, they have a chance at getting possibly 50 seconds on P1 if no contestant comes in from the Paris Legion. As I say that, Scraps is going to go down. Unfortunately, no time going in the favor of the Royal Ravens, but they do have the rotation for the Legion, so they'll be able to bounce back going into P2.
And you got to look out for players like Zero. We've talked about the Ravens, the newest addition, a guy that can oftentimes do the dirty work as Shox finds 2 headshots in a row and pretty much takes down what was my X factor for a short moment, but it looks as if despite the early time on P1 for the Ravens, the Legions pretty much decide to reference back, and they look to be pretty solid when it comes down to munition depot as they've got M4s, MP5s scattered throughout.
Yeah, that was a great P1 hill. Now they just need to be able to pick up these kills and break through the front of P2. They pick up 29 seconds, and that's a great start. You're not usually supposed to get that much time, especially on that middle hill, but hopefully we can see a break here soon. You see Shanny, he was going around that flank, but Shox was able to pick up that kill. Unfortunately now, the Royal Ravens have the flood through the bathroom side. You see them going around that back right. They were able to take down 1. Here's going to come the push. Are they going to be able to break it? 4 go down on the side of the Ravens. Beautiful hold out of the Legion.
Great stuff coming through from Paris, and you notice instantly Luca pretty much every single time trying to change his line sight, as it was Zed who was trying to be a sneaky little beaver over toward P3, gets cut down, and the reason why London was pretty much so well prepared for it is because they were continually taken down over at that money hill, over at Munition Depot. So good stuff from the Legion, right instantly back in this game, and at the same time, the Ravens, they're prepared, they're ready, and they're set up just as well. And Dylan being one of the main guys toward the front side, tossing out the smoke and hoping that he'll get blessed by some good timing or maybe even just some good vision, as there's the first, can't take down the second, and it's going to be up to the Scotsman to hopefully hold things down. He drops as well. Trophies continually out. The M4s look to be hot here for the Ravens.
And you can just tell Shanny was on that 5-kill spree. He is the X factor for this team. If he's able to keep up in that slaying department, I do not see a way that the London Royal Ravens do not win this series. Time is going in their favor. They're currently going to be able to take the lead. Now they got to realize that they need to be able to rotate towards P4, towards those crates area to pick up more time. But they're also just trying to gain all this extra momentum. You see Wuskins in a really sneaky spot, not trying to give up his position, just collecting as much time as he possibly can. They should be able to open up a 20-point lead here. All the kills going in favor of the Royal Ravens. First player here is going to be Zero. He's just going to decide to play his life. He knows he's by himself. Needs his teammate to come up, but there goes Kismet with the trade.
And I want to also be aware kind of consciously throughout this kind of cargo hill how often we see the Legion continually kind of sending scouts throughout the map, right? Whether it's through middle, whether it's through coal, or even through forest side, which is going to be the least likely of the 3. But just continually watch those white arrows as they're going to be doing their best to try to flip these spawns. Cargo is nice, but it's by no means the preferred hill of the next 2. And in the meantime, Ravens, they're doing their dirty work, right? This is kind of a hill that's pretty much somewhere in the center of the map. You like Paris's position, especially when we talk about their ability to kind of hold this. But in the meantime, like I said, player 9, the one you have to watch out for, Dens with the M4, looking to be somewhat sneaky, looking to try to make some chaos happen, as the Ravens, they've been playing lights out here over at Cargo.
They know exactly what's going on. Wuskins was in a position right there to make sure no one overextended from that train track area. All the kills going in favor of the London Royal Ravens. You see on the side of the Paris Legion, 7 and 14 out of Kismet, 7 and 12 out of Zed. Those are your main sub players.
Yeah.
They need to be stepping up here, especially on a championship Sunday, if they're going to want to take down the London Royal Ravens.
Yeah, you got to talk about that SMG duo. Great call study, and 2 guys who are absolutely performing yesterday, especially in different kind of key moments, but looks like they're kind of being rendered useless at the time. They're just trying to break on in, and Scraps see if he can actually get a nice angle as they're going to try to walk through the back door, gets the jump peek, and says goodnight to Luca, but no! Luca wins the battle. Dylan's here to at least pick up for where his fallen comrade had left off, and those are some big ones coming through from the Ravens, looking to try to hold down this back parking position. I believe that Shox trying to walk his way through the back door. Those are some crucial seconds, but hey, nonetheless, you're kind of okay with this. If you're Legion, you're happy with the time overall. If you are London, but nonetheless, a solid first half, but it's the Ravens coming out on top overall in terms of score.
You see the Ravens all on that left side train track immediately trying to go for that spawn flip, trying to put themselves in a position to make sure they're able to chain P2, because last time they lost it completely. They got 51 points on and they didn't get a single point. They were just trying to contest it the entire time. Now, They do have the spawns. They're on the preferred side. They're opening a big lead here. Paris Legion is just going to decide to try to play for the spawns, not even play for any of this hill time. But you see, that #1 player, Scraps, was going to die at connector. Now they should be able to pick up some time here. But 35 seconds remaining on the clock. They want to start focusing on that rotation. And that's exactly what Shox is going to do. Is he going to be able to push up this train track side and get a kill? And as I say that, Scraps is able to take him down.
Yeah, Ravens again doing some good work through the middle map, but Kismet is looking to cause some problems. A guy we have to watch out for, and what a wonderful reaction shot. Shuts down Scraps as well. Can he stay alive? Unfortunately not. He easily could have been the major breaking point coming in to Depot, but the Ravens were all too crafty. And speaking of crafty, Dens, M4 just hanging out in the corner, trying to use good trigger discipline, shuts down Scraps, and instantly the communication starts to flutter a little bit for the Ravens, trying to be conscious of where all the Legion players are trying to jump in at, and just from the side, from the corner, Scraps doing some excellent damage, trying to pepper up these Paris Legion players as they hop through the door. What, Kismet first threw in, there's Zed, there's Shox. Can they make some work out of it as a few of them begin to fall? Zero picks up a big 3. Luca's there for the response, but it looks as if it's going to be the Ravens doing a wonderful job holding on to this particular hill. Those cross kind of spawns, if you will, still favoring London for now.
The Ravens played that beautifully. They did not panic. They must have known that Dens was in his position. Unfortunately, Dens decided to pick up that kill on that far right side of tracks, makes his position aware. I would have liked him to play that a lot more slower, wait for his teammates to push up on that crates area so they can eventually work on a pinch, but that's not what happened. You see the Royal Ravens just picking up all the kills in the kill feed, able to open themselves up basically to a 50-point lead. Now rotating towards P3. It's looking like they're not going to have spawns. They're going to have to try to break this from the front side, and they're going to have to try to break it soon, because if the Paris Legion get a full 60 here, they'll also be able to do the same exact thing that the London Royal Ravens did for when they rotated towards that P4. So try to hold it from the front side and make sure you're keeping spawns going towards back warehouse, because that's where the London Royal Ravens were able to chain a couple points together.
Yeah, massive hill right now for the Legion. They cannot ask for this amount of points. A huge one for them is Zed trying to do some damage on the flank. He gets cut down, but really, for London, you normally see a lot more kind of effort, if you will, or more success when it comes down to Cole. However, they don't even contest a single point, it seems, as the Legion do everything they want. We talk about their performance on Gunrunner Dom, how great they can kind of hold that B Dom. Somewhat similar to their study, as they do it as well at Hardpoint, it seems.
Yeah, Luca was just posted up with that AR. He said, you come in front of me, you're going down. It was beautiful plays. They basically just held a full 60 there to open themselves up to a 13-point lead. Then you see Kismet rotating early, was able to pick up a couple seconds there, but gets taken down by Wuskins. Now, if you're in the position of the Royal Ravens, you have to do the same exact thing you did on the first rotation of Hardpoints. Pick up at least 20 to 30 seconds on this hill. If not, make sure you're keeping them off, because as long as you keep those spawns for that warehouse at P5, you guys should be able to hold another 40 to 50 points.
Wuskin doing some great damage, right? In terms of his scoreline, 22 and 12, 20 and 18 for Scraps. Obviously, the team doing some good work, at least for the time. They do actually manage to get spawns for next, which is kind of the biggest emphasis right now, as that is not what you want. If you're a Paris Legion fan, running out of ammo, the player starts to charge forward, and Luca, unfortunately, will have to revisit the respawn screen, but nonetheless, the push is on London. We'll see if they can lock down P5 again. Dylan trying to be the entry, unfortunately does drop, but right now for Paris, we'll see what the damage can be done. Shox trying to sneak through the back. Can he break in? Unsuccessful. First push, stop by London.
That was a beautiful kill that they just got on Turbine. That player was pushing up to play for this pinch. Now all they have to do is flip from this train side area. All the kills going in favor of the London Royal Ravens. 4 go down. We're most likely going to have a lead switch here. Every kill going in favor of the Ravens. They're going to be able to hold this. They need to hold this for a little more, actually, because especially rotating towards that P1, you never know who can win on that hill. So hopefully they're able to pick up a good chunk of time here, so they only have to sit on P1 for at least 15 to 20 seconds.
Trying to contest some time as this one is going down to the wire, and it's exactly what we were hoping for. A close game one to start off Championship Sunday. It looks as if we're getting our wish in the battle for Europe. I know the social media accounts are probably having a blast, especially the London one. Always great times there, but like we said, a massive moment for the Legion. Can they clutch up? It looks as if player 9 currently thinking about spawn. That's going to be Dens, but that's the issue right now, Study. They got to juggle pretty much both of these hardpoints back to back. They're trying to be in mind of the future. They managed to get that done, but the work does not stop here. Shanny up close, trying to do some work. He gets cut down. Dylan, in the meantime, on a 5 spree, causing some problems. That's going to be 6 in a row. Dens gets challenged from long range. That's 7 in a row for Dylan. He's getting hot. A few more seconds, and London will clean up this hardpoint as they finish things off over at center platform. 250 to 203. That is the way the home team wanted to start off this series.
And that's exactly why it's so scary with that P1. London Royal Ravens with that P5 hit were able to pick up at least 40 seconds. They only needed 14 points to close out this map. You saw the way that Paris Legion wanted to play it. They didn't want to be too contesty on that middle hard point. They had Den sitting in the back, making sure spawns were not going to get flipped. But that's the only thing. You have your teammates trying to do 2 jobs. The only thing you need to do is just not give up that time. Yeah. If Den is playing for spawns, it's going to be really hard to keep him off. You saw Dylan end on like an 8 spree right there, going absolutely huge for his team, able to close it out on that map 1. And this is where it gets scary. We're going into an Arklov Peak search and destroy. We know how dominant the London Royal Ravens have been, but I'm expecting big plays out of Kismet and out of Zed. The same exact thing that they were doing versus the Subliners yesterday. Kismet, especially being that island player, he needs to be able to step up in this game too.
Yeah, and you got to talk about, right, as well as the Marshall twins doing some great damage when it comes down to that. Dylan as well, kind of toward the stretch. Some good stuff coming through from London. But hey, like I said, that kind of sets up the emphasis now for this search and destroy. The Legion have been great as of recently, and we'll see if they can manage to kind of keep that up as we'll go and pull up our U.S. Air Force quick scope to kind of get somewhat familiar when we talk about this series, kind of where both teams sit in terms of their current positioning. But again, Study, it's been one roster that's kind of been making changes. They instantly see success with 0, obviously going to a second place finish just after the event. On the other side for Paris, one of the I guess you could say kind of short list of teams who have yet to make a single roster change.
Yeah, and it shows, obviously, in these records here, 9-15 for the Paris Legion. They didn't really get a couple wins in such a long time, but once that meta change happened, I feel like it definitely benefited this team. The only thing is, obviously, the submachine guns got a little weaker, so you see Kismet and Zed not putting up the numbers that they used to, but that's where they're able to bounce back in this game, too. This is such a big map right here, Lando. If they are able to make the individual plays that they were making, we saw Kismet before. 4 of his teammates were pushing at that A-bomb. He was just grabbing that bomb and going straight to B and planting it, waiting for his dead silence, making those individual plays. If he's able to replicate that in this map, they should be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Obviously, these are our U.S. Air Force maps and modes, but we got to talk about, though, and when we kind of reference this map in specific, Study, I know we've been kind of hitting on it a lot. London, how great they've kind of been in this mode. Their A executes have been absolutely fantastic, but the Legion as well had a very solid map on this one, as you kind of have been referencing it here on Arklov Peak, as they took down the Los Angeles Guerrillas, which is without question one of the best search and destroy teams, and I think you said it's on their best map, right?
Yeah, that was literally the LA Guerrillas' best map. I'm pretty sure there was 6 and 2 on it, and Paris Legion just came in and dominated them in a 6-0 fashion. You saw Luca hitting some insane snipes for his team. Like I said, Kismet being that nuisance with that bomb site, going to plant it at B. They're gonna need to be able to keep this momentum going into the search and destroy. They need every round, because there's no way that the London Royal Ravens are just going to give it up that easy.
Yeah, like I said, the London Royal Ravens, man, I tell you what, they've been fantastic on this mode, or rather on this particular map. They feel confident when we look at this one in particular. I know we've kind of hit on the Legion players to kind of look out for, but kind of on the other end, right? A roster that's looked good on this particular map previously. We saw them win the Game 5 versus Florida. This was the map that did it for them. We saw them take down, I think it was Seattle. I think it was 6-2 on this one just over on Friday. Players to look out for from the Ravens, as they've been kind of continually great on this particular map.
Well, I'm definitely looking at Wuskins. Wuskins with that sniper. It's like everyone knows where he's going to be playing. He's not changed up his position once. He's always going to be playing top A in those windows area. The only time you ever catch him playing something different is when he obviously has to wrap back and go towards that B bomb. But just the beautiful A push that they have through trenches, the way that Dylan and Scraps work that is perfect. Yesterday, they also threw a decoy smoke on the bomb, causing Havoc to go check it and get out of position. They are just so far ahead of what they need to do in this map, and hopefully it can replicate into today as well.
Here we go, Legion, a big map already for them as we reference Search and Destroy, one that London's looked great on. At the same time, Legion is 6-0 earlier in the tournament versus one of the best teams on S&D, that being the Guerrillas. Early snipes are out from Luca, nothing landing. It's actually going to be Shanny on the other end finding the first blood. And Luca, we know how good he can be with the sniper, especially on this map as well, as the bomb's pushed pretty far up. Looks as if Ravens, for now, not overly conscious of it, but are aware of this push, and it's actually Kismet who's kind of hanging out on the lattice work here. He's just having some fun, waiting maybe for his team to find a pick.
And this is what you tell the London Royal Ravens did their homework. They know that Kismet likes to be that ISO player that's going to be pushing towards that B bomb. They are stacking this bomb site with at least 3 players in it. 1 player in Dylan who's just going to hold this A bomb site. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Paris Legion need to make a push quick. They need to try to get equivalent trades here if they're going to be able to work this out. That 1 player on the outskirts is going to be Zero. Is he going to be able to take down Zed? Beautiful win out of Zed. 2 players sliding into this bomb site. Shanny with 3 on the round, going huge for the London Royal Ravens. Doesn't look like there's going to be enough time to plant the bomb. Shanny opening it up with the first blood, able to pick up a 2 right there. There goes Watsons with the 4th. All left up to Dens, and a beautiful, beautiful round out of the Ravens.
Yeah, great stuff from London late, as it was Shanny going big with the hat trick, but final kill coming through from Wiskin is hanging out in the bushes, and that's kind of a scary situation for Paris for that moment there, Study. We were kind of talking on how Kismet was winning with the bomb, maybe a little bit too slow, and maybe kind of gave away the push, if you will, to the point where London said, all right, we know you're coming, it's just a matter of when. Paris runs through the door, and they get cut down.
Yeah, it was all started with Shanny. He was able to peek that front door, just peek it a little bit. Cracking it open, was able to pick up that first blood on the shocks. Once he gains all that information, he knew that they were going B-side. Dylan was obviously sitting at a beautiful shot out of Wuskins, just hitting people with new angles every time I'm watching this guy. Able to go up man advantage here. Here goes the A trenches push. Scraps is going to be set up. No one is going to be rotating back. It's looking like they're going to be able to get this bomb down easy in a 3v5 situation.
Yeah, already finding the early picks are the Ravens, and Scraps, he's hungry for another. Shocks peeks up, instantly shut down. Can he find another? And he does. A wonderful job coming through from Scraps as Kismet, the lone man on defense, instantly gets shut down, and that is the definition of dominance coming through from the Ravens. The typical A execute, and it works out flawlessly.
That was beautifully. It all started with Wuskins' first blood. He was able to put himself in the position where Luca knew exactly where Wuskins was going to go. Wuskins knew that Luca was able to watch VOD last night and realized all the spots that he goes to. Wuskins, being the talented sniper that he is, changes up his position, put himself in a better spot so he's able to spot him before Luca spots him. And just like that, Wuskins opening it up with 2 sniper kills in both rounds. He's really stepping it up today, because yesterday, when they were playing the Mutineers, he was completely out of the loop. They were just throwing smokes all over the map and taking him out of his game. Literally saw him tweet, didn't really have the performance that he would want, but today's Championship Sunday, it's time to step up.
It definitely is. Now's the time. As we talk about it for Legion, it very well could be their very last series. Especially going down 0-1. But in the meantime, trophies down. Legion trying to make themselves comfortable, but London all the more prepared for it. If we were at the copper box, I know the O's would have been going. The excitement would be there. Who's going to challenge first? Dylan peeks out. Another kill coming through from the Ravens. Kismet, at the very least, able to find 1. Tries around the corner. No good. Scraps adds that to his collection of kills, as that's going to be 5 in a row now for him. And now it's down to the Aussie duo, Shocks and Dens. Could they pull off something special? Dens actually, in the meantime, basically gets shot from his teammate. Tries to go for the bomb plant, manages to do so, but gets picked apart as the Ravens, they start to circle around the bomb site. They start to peck away at the Australian. He falls, and that is going to be the Ravens finding their 3rd round in a row.
I'm pretty sure Scraps just got another 3-piece this round. He put himself in such a great position, laying at an off angle in that trenches area. He knew that there was a player pushing up in trenches, so he calls for backup. Dylan is there, goes for the challenge. Obviously, Dylan gets traded by Kismet, but Scraps never gave up his position. He was never spotted by the opposite team. They had no idea that there were 2 players there. Kismet turns his back. Fortunately, Scraps is able to take him down, sets up on that rock heading on the backside of the trench, was able to kill the other 2 players. Beautiful positioning out of Scraps. Currently sitting at 7-1, dominating the map right now.
Matthew Marshall, calm it down, buddy. The Paris Legion, they're trying to continue this Cinderella story, by the way. Can they make it 4 straight? I mean, really, if you're the Legion, it's about putting your foot down, and it has to be now. Luca, we've talked about how influential his early picks can be, and there's one actually with the M4. Scraps continuing to streak, but does get dropped. Destroyed building will be his final resting place, but if you are the Legion, you're happy at least with this early team fight, as you'll walk away with a successful defensive hold. But in the meantime, it's Shanny looking to be the scout, if you will, over toward B. An issue at the moment, outside of that cross that Dens is holding, they don't have a ton of mid-map presence, so Shanny will make it through. No real damage felt. Zed, in the meantime, aware of that bomb rotation. That's great awareness as Shanny and Zed run right past each other. Zed's going to be there for the pick, and now it's going to be all left on to 0. 1v4, or excuse me, actually does have Wuskins, so a 2 versus 4. Forgot Wuskins was actually here, but hey, nonetheless, far behind, and now gets put in a pretty awkward position. 10 seconds left, he gets cut down, and Paris can finally say they've got the 1 round. They've got the baguette.
That was a beautiful round out of the Paris Legion. They did not panic. They knew they had man advantage. As long as they were able to pick up that mid-cross, and that's exactly what a player was positioned to do. Zed got the call out and got far left. He realized that Shanny was in that top window. Didn't want to go for the challenge immediately. Repositioned himself, forced Shanny to jump down. Was able to take him down. Then eventually head glitched that bar area, picking up the final 2. Beautiful plays out of Zed right there.
Good work from Zed. I mean, literally leading for his team right now. You add up all their kills and it equals out to the same amount that he does. So definitely some influential stuff coming through from Zed, the difference maker in the first round. But back to offense we go, and it looks as if right now for the Legion, a decent spread across the map, as B, at least in terms of the bomb site, may be the ideal positioning. But for Paris as well, this could be an attempt at a bait, right? Trying to fire out some shots, try to be aware, be conscious, and maybe try to go through middle for the rotation. But Scraps there to spoil things. He finds the first blood.
Scraps is dominant right now, currently 9-2, carrying in his team on this map, picking up back-to-back 3 pieces in 2 rounds. Now the time is ticking. 35 seconds are going to be on the clock. It's looking like Kismet is just going to decide to wrap this all the way back and go back towards that A-bomb. The only thing is, you have a player in Zed, who's all the way pushed up at that sandbags area. Now, that number 6 player in Luca going for the late flank. Is Zero going to be able to spot him? Gunfight goes down. Luca with a big gunfight onto Zero. Gonna force the players from the London Royal Raven to decide to wrap back, but as you say that, bomb is going down on the A site. No one has a position on Zed. Beautiful positioning out of him. Is he going to be able to get the 2? 3v3 situation. They finally take down Luca off the flank. Now, 35 seconds remaining on the clock. They know Zed is in this corner. They just can't spot anybody else. Dylan's going to be able to put down shots on the Kismet. Going for the challenge on Zed. Zed's going down 2. Now in the 2v1 for Dens. Beautiful, beautiful retake. All starts with Dylan right there with the big 2 fees. Putting that angle on a Kismet, knowing exactly where Zed was, using the mechanics in the game, crouching up and down, easy 2-piece there, forcing it in a 1v3 situation. Perfect retake out of the Ravens.
So it was a great retake, and it was also kind of a great start for the Ravens as well. It was a little bit scary for the Legion as Kismet literally had to sprint across the entire map of Arklov, and for those that play it often, you know how tiring it can be to get from one side of the map to the other, but managed to get the bomb down. It gets a little bit scary kind of toward the stretch, but nonetheless, Legion, they do the best they can, and London, for what is now going to be the 4th time, comes away with the round. So we'll see what they can attempt now on offense. As you could argue, this is the round. If you are the Legion, it has to be now. You can't go down 5-1, especially against the Ravens, especially against someone like Bradley Marshall. the scariest sniper in the CDL. He's earned the title, and he's causing fear in multiple teams. And a little bit of a slow push right now from London. Looking for these picks, relying on someone like Wiskin to hopefully kind of be the hero. But nothing landing yet, Steady.
No, but I love the way that Kismet is deciding to play this round. He knows he's currently sitting at 1-5. He was that X factor yesterday versus that Subliners, always hitting those late flanks. He needs to be able to step it up and step it up quick before this game gets out of hand. 30 seconds remaining on the clock for the London Royal Ravens. Shots are going to go down on Shanny. Not going to be able to get taken down. They know Zed's positioning. 5v5 still. 20 seconds remaining. Bomb is looking like it's going to rotate all the way back to B. I don't think they have a chance at planning this unless he's the Flash. That's the only way he's going to be able to get there. Bomb is Zed with a big kill on the Shanny. Here comes the pre-nade to try to stay alive. Time is just ticking. The London Royal Ravens just decided to wait too long on this push towards B. Not going to have enough time to plan. Here comes Scraps, just picking up the final couple of kills. But the Legion with a beautiful hold there.
Legion indeed. I'll tell you what, man, I really thought in that moment it looked good for London, but it was like a certain situation where London decided to kind of reference back. Player with the bomb, I think, was aware that he was going to be going for an overextension at the other side, quickly references back, and I think the timing started to become apparent to him. It was like, oh my gosh, I got to get to the bomb ASAP. And by that time, despite the kills coming through from London, the time is not on their side, and Legion walking away with the round that, not to say that they don't deserve, but definitely one that helps them. They're definitely assisted by London in this moment, but take a look at that scoreboard, man. 11-3 from Scraps. Definitely putting on for his team. Of course, Zed on the other end, 7-4. Some major slayers, to say the least, that are causing havoc and definitely deciding the current round count. But it looks as if Legion making their way up through this ditch side. Zed, of course, one of the first players to try to gain some line sights as Scraps here for the peak, but Zed's holding strong onto the rock. As Dylan from the back lines having to watch his teammate fall. Can London hold on to this? Can they win the swing round? 5-2 looks a lot different than 4-3. This could be the key to success for this series if the Legion can walk away with this one. But here comes the push. Early attacks are out. Luca there for the pick. But Wiskin, he's here with the big boy. The HDR in the back lines is causing the Legion to start to scatter. Dylan is there for the pick. 20 seconds left in this round, and Wiskin happens to get just below the table. He drops to the floor, and Kismet also silences Dylan in the meantime, trying to reference back. The bomb does get planted, and now it is up to a 2 versus 3. London, a massive round for them if they can come away with the clutch, but can it be Wiskin? Can he find the snipe? Shocks doesn't want to reveal his position. He has to be aware that Bradley Marshall is hanging out in the window. When's the pick gonna come through? Here comes the nade. 20 seconds left. Zero. They're ready for the attack. Can they find the pick? Can Zero be the influential piece? Can Wiskin find the snipe? He does, but there's still 2 more players left. There's Luca. There's Kismet. They're starting to win these, and there is going to be the round. Paris Legion, they win the swing round, and they very well put themselves in a much better position.
That was a beautiful round out of the Legion. That was their first offensive win as well. But that play literally just came down to Kismet. Hitting that late flank, just being that nuisance, going right up mid-map, coming right behind one of the players on the Royal Ravens, and backing down immediately. He understands he made this play possible. As soon as they understand that they killed one player sitting at the middle boxes, Wuskins is always going to be able to play that top window with this sniper, and they know Shawnee's going to be playing that B. Beautiful play out of Kismet there. He's starting to come alive in this map.
He's often been called the key player for the Legion, really kind of throughout the entirety of the season, right? We've had a number of different conversations about the Legion's success, how great Kismet can be. I feel like he's been filling up the PlayStation damage dealt leaderboard, especially earlier on in the season, and has to be a player to look out for. He oftentimes can ignite the fire behind Paris. Maybe he and Zed's mom together, they can be the duo, but nonetheless, an interesting smoke. Nonetheless, a Shanny trying to pick off Shocks, a few shaky shots, but nonetheless, he will come away with it. You got a lot of players pushed up far here for London. Scraps to be one of those guys here, Stud.
I thought that was going to be terrible timing for Shanny. He was going back and forth, trying to find the player on that flank. He was able to take him down. Now Scraps is able to take one, and now the trade was in. 4v3 situation, 25 seconds remaining on the clock. Smoke goes down. Bomb is most likely going to go down right about now. Now it's all about holding this, but you see that player, number 4, Shanny, going for the same play that Kismet made. Is he going to be able to come up behind these two players? Shanny is the X factor right here in this round. Jumping around this corner, is going to be able to spot at least one. He knows that everyone is pushed up by this bomb site. Zed's going to be able to take down 0, but Shanny still has the chance to make this play possible. Shanny going to come behind 1. Shanny going to come behind 2. Take them both down. Beautiful play out of Shanny. 1v3 for Kismet. 20 seconds remaining. This round just became impossible. And he just basically told Kismet, everything you can do, I can do better. Beautiful plays out of Shanny with the 3 kills in that huge round.
Major plays coming through from the Scotsman. The Ravens needed to silence this Paris push. They needed to silence the Legion getting hot. And Shanny, the X Factor, his name was kind of put in the keys to victory multiple times throughout the London home series. Shanny needs to be influential and talk about that moment. That may be the moment that fills the nightmares of the Legion tonight. But hey, still alive, still breathing. 0-0-6 currently for London, but that does not matter based on what we see. Dylan picked off early. Kismet in the middle of the map manages to respond alongside Zed. An instant situation if you are the Ravens, of which you get that hype in the last round, you got the momentum, and instantly starts to be taken away. Bomb plant is initiated, and Scraps, if he gets the right timing, he can take down Zed as he realizes Denz is here. He does! That's 2! A huge situation for Scraps. Trying to go big, trying to silence them down. The bomb does not get planted, and in the meantime, Luca and Shox still alive. Down goes Scraps. Luca with the sniper. Shox is up close. 30 seconds left. Can Wiskin find the pick? He has to reference back. And Luca, in the meantime, will get this plant down. 2 versus 2, and this could be it. Can London get the retake? That is going to be the question. Can they keep this up? What's the positioning going to look like here? How are the picks going to come through for London? It looks as if the smoke is out, trying to mask the push. Shox, in the meantime, is aware of it. Decides to actually run through the smoke. Does he catch the line set from 0? Did they see each other? He rocked dead silence. 0 spots him. It's all up to Luca. 18 seconds left. He's got the sniper. He's got the M4. He has the line sight, but can he shut him down in time? Has the M4 ready to go. Tries to take him down. Can he do it? The defuse is in. He takes down Wiskin, and the defuse is not going to be able to come through. Despite 0 finding the kill, the bomb will explode, and the Legion managed to stay alive.
I love that play out of Luca right there. He understood that he had a sniper in his back pocket, but the M4 is a lot more guaranteed at getting this kill. He didn't want to risk it and put it in a 1-bullet shot, so now he was just able to take down Wuskins off bomb. 0 was trying to body stack there to trying to eat all the bullets for Wuskins. Unfortunate situation there. They almost made a miracle out of that round, but now it's 5-4. Crunch time. They have been able to win their defenses on the side of Paris Legion. They are 2-2 currently on offense and defense. This would be such a huge round because obviously if they lose this, they lose the map. But Scraps is sitting at 14-6. Double positive. He needs to be answered. Kismet is starting to step up towards the end of this map with his ISO plays. Just being that lone wolf on the map, being able to pick up lonely kills. Now we see aggressive push towards B. Is Zed gonna be able to back out of here? He's gonna be sitting top. It's looking like the Legion are gonna be inside this B bomb. Bomb is gonna go down. They know that Zed is gonna be sitting top. Scraps is gonna go for the challenge. Zed's gonna jump out the front. Zero is prepared for it. Bomb goes down. 5v4 situation. This is gonna be a really hard retake from the Paris Legion if they can get this.
Kismet finds one onto Shanny, and it's really just about trying to initiate the fight. How do Legion break in and get this bomb defused? Kismet, the first one through as Dylan has to reference back, goes through the window. Can he find a nice flank? Not gonna be able to do so. A player needs to hop on the defuse here shortly as Luca is on it. Shox is still alive, and Wiskin, the last player. Can he get a pick? And it looks as if he's not gonna be in a position to do so. And that will be the Legion getting the defuse and now forcing the round 11.
Wow, that was such a beautiful retake out of Legion. Even though Zed jumped out of that front window and ended up getting first blooded, they just all decided to stack in there and push and try to just team fire each other. And that's exactly what they did. All the kills went in favor of the Paris Legion there. Wuskins wasn't in a position to spot that bomb. Now we're in a round 11. This can either make or break the series. If London Royal Ravens are able to close this out, that domination is going to be such a heartbreaker for Legion. They're going to need to win another offensive round. Currently 3-2 defensive versus offensive. This would be the tied up right here. They need to execute this A push. They understand they're probably going to play this really aggressive here, but Scraps is going to be able to spot a couple. Shots are going to go down. Sounds like all the players from the Legion are going to be here. Scraps picking up Dens. That's going to be bombed down. Playing his life perfectly. Does what he needs to do. Gets one. Backs up. Now it's all on the Paris Legion to try to make a play here.
It is. They're down a man. They lose Dens, but still, the push is on. And the bomb is down, by the way. Kismet, by definition, the player who you'd like to see maybe go back and snag it. But the nice double coming in from Luca does get silenced from Wuskin, but nonetheless, the damage has been done, as things will be evened out. Shox just narrowly manages to stay alive, and it's actually Zed who managed to reference back and grab the bomb, and we actually could see the rotation over to B. This is London. They may actually get caught off guard by this. Wuskin still with the sniper. He shuts down Shox in the meantime, but the bomb has rotated over toward B. They're going to be able to get this plant off, and Shanny, he's going to be able to give the call out. Let him know the site is clear. They get the indicator. Bomb planted at B. 0. Shanny and Wuskin. Can they get the 3 versus 2 retake? Wuskin from the top side, looking to try to grab some visuals, but if you are Zed and Kismet, it's about back-to-back style. Can you keep it alive? Wuskin, he's over at the bar, but Kismet shuts him down. 2 versus 2 now. 0 and Shanny. Time is starting to run away. 0 has to hop on the defuse, but Kismet is here. He finds the first, and the Legion will walk away with the round 11 victory. A massive one for them here on Arklov. As it started to get scary, they make the rotation and they stay alive. As Zed and Kismet, they go huge in the 2 versus 2.
We have a series on our hands now. What a beautiful play out of the Legion there. It all started with Luca. He was able to push up in that trench area and pick up an insane 2-piece. I thought for sure Scraps was going to be able to get that kill. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to. Luca with the big 2 ended up getting traded by Wuskins. Wuskins had that information that there was another player sitting in that corner. A nade comes in. He tries to go for the pistol trade, but he wasn't able to get it. The other 2 players, number 7, I wonder who that player was. He was sitting in mid-map watching that rotation back from that A bomb, holding it the entire time until the bomb carrier tried to wrap back. They set up beautifully there. They did not panic. They said, you got my back, I got your back, and we should be able to clutch this up. Wuskins decided to solo push into that bomb site, was caught behind the guy laying behind the bar, and then you see that beautiful play at the very end, jumping out of that top window, picking up that 2-piece. Beautiful adjustment out of the Legion there.
Yeah, a very good adjustment coming through from them, as we definitely need to revisit that round 11. We have to re-experience what was a very, very impressive ending to that one, coming in from Kismet and Zed. Like we talked about, the 2 versus 3. Here's our U.S. Army tactical play, and this is kind of the adjustment from London, right? I mean, like I said, Study, we see them kind of rotate the bomb over to over to this site. They have a good position set up, and London, they just cannot convert.
Yeah, I didn't like the way that London decided to spread push this. If all of them would have went in, they obviously could have played the trades a lot better. But Wuskins going in by himself right here, unfortunately doesn't check behind the bar, gets taken down by Kids. Kids plays this perfectly, but Zed on the other hand just jumps out top window. He knows that a player has to be on this bomb soon. Once they take down one, last player needs to be on that bomb site. Beautiful play out of Kismet and Zed. We were talking about it in that map 1. They didn't really have a good map 1, but they definitely stepped up huge for their roster in that game 2.
100%, man. And like I said, those 2 guys have kind of been, I know we talk about X Factors a lot, but these guys have kind of been the X Factor, right? Kismet and Zed, your SMG guys. We've talked about how the meta kind of is influential at different moments. The M4s in comparison to the MP5s, they could be, like I said, the kind of the key factors to look out for the rest of the series and even heading into the domination.
No, yeah, for sure, because we're going into a domination on St. Petro. So if they're able to keep up that sub work, we saw the way that they were just able to work at S&D. They did exactly what they did yesterday. Now it's all about those neutralizing the flags, being a nuisance, pushing up to their hazard, pushing into kitchen, and just playing your lives perfectly. We saw Dylan yesterday go on a 10 spree. I cannot wait to see this domination.
Oh boy, we talked about it. Championship Sunday, it's already getting off to a great start. Paris Legion, London Royal Ravens were tied at 1-1 heading into St. Petro Dom. Stick with us as we'll be back right after this.
From Paris, France, this is the Legion.
They're firing together as a unit. There's just a wall of bullets there from the Paris Legion as they will hold the line.
Stand with the cluster! Luna with the challenge!
The third in a row for Paris! This could not have been a better setup now from the French. I love it.
Kismet is on fire.
He's in a great position. Shox has got two! Paris have just gone and stole another round.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day with the #1 brand in prepaid. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The United States Air Force. Learn more at airforce.com.
Christmas has come early for the Call of Duty League, and it's time to deck your loadouts out with some brand new champs, blueprints, gun charms, player signature stickers, spicy sprays, and calling cards. Check them out in the in-game store. Gear up like a pro for the Call of Duty League Championship 2020 pack. Study, we've been talking about this one, man. I absolutely love the Champs pack, but I gotta ask you though, we're talking about, right, our current series, London Royal Ravens versus the Paris Legion. You get one signature sticker from both of these teams. Which player are you choosing from the Legion, and which player are you choosing from the Ravens right now?
I think I'm definitely choosing Kismet from the Legion, throwing that on the MP5. And from the Royal Ravens, I'm definitely throwing Scraps. I'm pretty sure he had like 15, 16 kills right there. Absolutely putting on a show for his roster. Unfortunately, they lost that map. They need to be able to bounce back in this domination. This domination is going to be insane, man.
Oh, it absolutely is. Like you talked about, I mean, Scraps finishes off, what was like 15-8 overall, had an absolute insane performance, was a part of a number of different influential kills, and could definitely be the catalyst for the Ravens coming into this domination. And we will, I mean, like I said, Sonny, we were the ones who commentated over this situation, what was it, yesterday, with London and the Florida Mutineers, a team in the Mutineers who were 9-1 on this map and mode. They've been looking fantastic on it as of late, especially with Awakening, and this was the map for the Ravens that managed to set up what would be later a reverse sweep to take down the new Florida Mutineers lineup for the very first time. I will say, kind of based off of records, you kind of have to keep in mind London, their recent prowess on this map, it has been lethal.
Oh yeah, for sure. But watching the Paris Legion yesterday, even though it was on a different map like Gunrunner, you just seen the aggression, the pace that they were setting with Luca and Zed going for that neutral and the opposite home flag every time. They know exactly how they need to play this, how they need to just sneak by and play their lives perfectly, and hopefully we can see it replicate on this map as well.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked about the Ravens. They are your home team. In fact, let's actually go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with the London Royal Ravens.
Half P1.
Alright, come. Push out river as well. Push out river.
Push that river. I pushed
Come on the tray. I'm on
the P1 away. I need help. This one.
I need it.
I've got two just formed that bar. Two just formed that bar. They hit me.
Did they go through?
No, they're not fully
Top blue round. Two top down. One, stay alive.
I'm alive. Got me trucks. Got my bottom dino. Got me trucks. Hold that. He's up top of me. I have a P1 right bottom. Play life. Bush stop.
Choke. In the bush stop. In the bush stop. In the bush stop. In the blue bush stop.
We might try and go one.
I think one's behind you, Matt. Top.
Hit me to low. Left, pick up.
Nice.
Last shot. Out the right.
I need it. Come back.
I got one. I'm being annoying. Blue. Live top liner. One P1 on me. Top liner. One P1 on me. Just stun me. One shot. Bottom down. I have a tool.
Down there.
One shot. I can grab those. I'll give it a shot.
I'm in blue court, by the way.
I'm down. I'm back. I'm gonna meet you probably. One's a lion. I'm there. Coming down my tracks. Killed Amber. Top down. On the right. Charge. Got an enemy on the right.
Gotten to listen to the London Royal Ravens there, and kind of the biggest piece for me, Study, Scraps starting things off 8-0. They've got that current B and C flag in their control, trying to lock down the other end as well, but Scraps had a massive performance when it came down in the search and destroy, finished 15-8, and is looking to be just as influential in this domination. Rockstead Silence shuts down Zed, 9-0, make it 10-0 for Scraps, and he finds the 11th as well. Unbelievable stuff coming through from Matty Marshall. 11 kills to start off this game, and 11 kills that are causing problems. Make it 12. Can he make it 13? Unfortunately cannot, but the presence has been felt. The Legion are feeling the pressure as Scraps exploding early.
Unbelievable performance out of Scraps. He was literally spawned up, went into their kitchen, killed 8 players, went for the neutral on A, came back, killed another 4 players. That is an unbelievable performance out of Scraps. I'm telling you, when they beat Florida on this map yesterday, in the beginning of that first half, they were put in a trip cap. They were able to come out of it and hold a 2 cap for a really long time. And that's exactly what they're doing here. They are just playing their positions perfectly fine. Scraps, once again, sitting in this top kitchen area, picking up kills left and right, opening basically almost a 40-point lead. A neutral is finally going to come onto this B flag, but where the positionings are for the London Royal Ravens, you see that number 2 player, Zero, he was just dropped. He was all the way pushed up in their blue area. Now, they have another 2 cap. They are playing this absolutely flawless, and this is the thing where if you're the Paris Legion, you need to answer quick. When we did see the scoreboard, Kismet was sitting at 1-7. He needs to be the X factor for this team, especially on a map like this where his submachine gun can be so powerful in certain positions.
We see it, man. We talk about streaks, we talk about players to look out for. Shanny currently on a 5 spree himself, 0 on a 3, make it a 4. Everybody from the Ravens having their chance in the spotlight, but the spotlight has never been brighter for the home team and for Scraps himself. I know he wants to get a W, he wants to get a victory and see himself in a final. Nonetheless, the Ravens have come out of this dom hot as Kismet gets dropped from the flank. Again, you look at those totals, you look at those slaying numbers, it is undeniable the way that the Ravens are playing. As Paris, they have the reference back. They're just trying to get their A, rather kind of their A spawn, if you will, that A flag kind of back in their control before they can even kind of bend back the layers to get here. Wuska now on a 5 spree himself. Like I said, everybody is having their chance, and it has been one heck of a dominant first half from London.
They have just completely outslayed Paris Legion on this entire first side. You see Scraps 15-4. The guy was 12-0, dominating on the first half of this map. They're going to basically open themselves up to a 54-point lead. Beautiful plays out of the Royal Ravens. That was such a dominant first half. You know, you've seen a couple neutralizations onto that A flag, but it all starts with Scraps. He started off 12-0. This guy was an absolute unit on the map, picking up 2, going for the 3rd on the Kismet. That's just unbelievable, man. To start off 12-0 on map number 3, going on that first side, you have to be feeling really confident going into this second side, especially because you do have that A-B setup now. They don't have to push for that C flag. Now, with the aggression that they have and all the slaying power on the side of the Royal Ravens, if they can get a 3 cap going and pushing that C flag as well, especially if they can dominate the middle buildings as they've been doing so far, then this is going to be a blowout.
Legion, it's up to you. You've got to try to silence what is the current momentum, no question, in Paris's side, as Scraps is not slowing down, already finding 3 to break this one off. But, I mean, Study, you've obviously put in a number of different teams who have been absolutely fantastic in terms of even slaying and how they can kind of feed off of that momentum. I mean, when you have a teammate that's going off like that, how does that kind of feed the momentum of the rest of the team?
Oh, you understand, when Nameless, every time I played with Nameless, he always just had those maps where he just went absolutely off. He was basically a god on the map. And whenever someone is playing like that, you just sit there and you gas him up the entire time. You do everything that he needs you to do because he's doing it all for the team. There's only one time in my entire career that I felt like that, and that was back during Black Ops 3 when I was playing versus FaZe. We were down 0-2 in the series. I basically went positive 50, something like that. Every single map I was dominating. I've never had a series like that in my life, but when you have a player doing that well, especially off the rip of a game, you just have to rally around him. You have to let him do what he does and do what he does best, and that's exactly what Scraps is doing, picking up every single kill, also playing that OBJ, doing everything that he needs to do for his team to make sure they close out this match.
And obviously we're not in the copper box, but I mean, hey, if you have some teammates at least behind you giving you some gas, that can be all the momentum that you need. Even though we're online, the teammate support can absolutely help. And I know we've been talking about the Ravens a lot, but there's a good reason for it. Legion having a few good moments here and there in general, but it has been all around dominant so far from London. As Scraps again, 22-6, about to drop shocks in the window. I just had a feeling, Study. I just had a feeling that Scraps is going to continue on another 5 in a row, 3 in a row for Shanny. I'm not saying chalk this one up yet, but Scraps is making me think about it. This man is on a mission, and that mission is to get to the final. Unreal stuff coming in from Scraps. Now 27-6. Give him another flank kill. It's just about to be inbound. You have to feel this way, and this has got to be heartbreaking if you are a Paris Legion fan, because Scraps is just shutting them down in every single moment, in every single opportunity. He cannot be stopped. My word, Scraps, have yourself a game, my good friend.
There's just no answer for Scraps. I'm pretty sure on the side you have Kismet and Zed sitting at double negative. 8-23, 9-23, both of them. And that's something that you don't need. These guys are your aggressive sub players. They're going up against one player in Scraps who's taking them both down with ease. Currently on another 9 spree. Was on 12 earlier during this map, on 9. Finally gonna get taken down. Basically opening up to an 80-point lead. Paris Legion, as I say that, they're gonna try to go for this trip cap. They're going to have to hold this basically for every second if they're going to have a chance at winning this map. It's looking mathematically impossible here pretty soon. A neutral is going to be coming in on that A flag. As I say that number 6 player was able to pick up 2 kills. Luka needs to be playing that nuisance on this A flag. Down 60 points. I'm pretty sure it's already mathematically impossible. You could only get 36 points in a minute with a trip cap. Scraps just dominated this entire map. Paris Legion had no answer.
Yeah, Paris did not have an answer. Granted, they had a good response at the very least, if you will, when it came down to that trip cap toward the ending stages. But like I said, if you're London right now, it's kind of just about parking the bus, right? Just kind of hang back in this A flag. Just really don't allow for Paris to get the neutral, but it's probably going to have to be the cap. It can't just be the neutral at this point. You have to stop any output of points and just continue to pile on your own. Luka with a good few kind of influential kills here at the end, but of course, it Scraps to be the one to shut him down. As this one, we talk about player signatures, this one has Scraps' name, this particular map has Scraps' name written all over it. St. Petro Dom continues to be the cornerstone for the Ravens' success, and it's really just about how many kills can Scraps finish off with. 32 and 10, the rest of the team feeding off the momentum, as Dom has been a strong suit for Paris throughout a lot of these maps. That was kind of one of the major talking points the Nables had coming into this series, was how lethal the Legion could be. But Scraps, he had other things to say.
He absolutely dominated this map from start to finish. There was no answer on the side of the Paris Legion. I'm pretty sure all of them are sitting negative. They completely got outslayed this map. All started with Scraps, went on a 12 kill spree, then a 9 kill spree, and he was doing that all with a submachine gun. I know you asked me which gun I was going to put Scraps on. I might have to put him on both now. He just put on an absolute show, man, and going into that map number 4, his confidence has to be through the roof.
Oh, man. Rip off that Legion sticker and just smack Scraps on there again.
It's 6. Wow.
It is definitely deserved, but my goodness, that was absolutely unreal. A map to definitely remember at the very least. What good stuff coming through from Scraps, and good stuff as well coming through from Wuskin, by the way. He had a phenomenal map as well, so we'll kind of look through this one. What, 27 and 10 there for the boys is what the Marshall twins go for 60 combined. What, 60 and 21? The brother duo, they're doing it big, and they just gave themselves a massive advantage for the rest of this series study.
Oh man, it definitely just goes back to that Florida series. They were able to come back in a reverse sweep on that map. That map they have to feel so confident playing that map now that they played the best team on it, and they ended up coming back in such a crazy game and winning it. Now they just open up the gates here and just slaying out on all departments, man. Every single player on the side of the Roy Ravens were positive, and that's scary for the Paris Legion. All of you guys are negative. The slaying department was there for you guys yesterday. Going into this next hardpoint, you're going to have to match the guns of the opposite team, and if you don't, this one's gonna be done.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Well, we talked about hardpoint. That's gonna be coming up for game 4, but let's kind of reflect back actually to the very first map in our damage dealt leaderboard here, presented by PS4. We talked about players, guys to look out for. Dylan at the very top, 3,606 damage. Scraps there as well, but it is outside of Dens. It is a London sandwich, if you will, maybe even some bean spread in there from time to time, but nonetheless, the Ravens, obviously the big difference makers when we talk about that game 1, and that has to worry you a little bit. Obviously, the Legion aren't necessarily, thinking about damage in terms of the first map, but there's a reason why all those guys were so close to each other in that first map. It was a real team effort from them in that first one.
Oh yeah, for sure. You had players like Scrap, 30 bomb. His other player, Dylan, another 30 bomb. They were just keeping up with the slaying department, hitting those rotations fine. They understood sometimes they got held on at a few 60s, especially on that P3 hill where Luka was dominating in the front with that AR. But I'm pretty sure they're going to Hackney Yard, and this map is so fast-paced. If Paris have a chance at winning this, they'd need Zed and Kismet to step up and step up big. I'm pretty sure Zed just went 12 and 28, something like that, and he just had an unbelievable map too. They're going to need to bounce back and bounce back quick before they lose out.
Yeah, when we talk about X factors, it's kind of been the hot topic that we've been discussing kind of throughout a lot of this. Are different players to look out for, right? Different guys who have the ability to go off, guys you have to be aware of. But we talk about guys that have to be the slayers. We also got to talk about guys who as well do the dirty work. We talk about King of the Hill. So far this series, I mean, in terms of things, Luco, really a minute and 28 of average hill time. Shanny as well, they're at that 5th spot, minute and 16. Like I said, guys that oftentimes don't necessarily get the spotlight. Often you got to give some props to the guys who are always hopping in the hill there, stud.
No, yeah, for sure. You have those players who are most likely running your second AR sitting in the hill. Like you see accuracy up top with a 1 minute and 35 seconds. They're all just playing that hill because they understand their sub players need to be aggressive. They need to be pushing out spawns, forcing them to spawn in certain different positions, flipping spawns and such. So hopefully when it comes down to this hardpoint right here, I'm expecting obviously Shanny to be posted up in that hardpoint a lot more than others teammates, because Wuskin's just going to be running around gunning, Scraps and Dylan putting on an absolute clinic with their submachine guns. They're just going to be able to keep up that pace here, and they should be able to close this out.
I mean, Study, obviously, like we've talked about it before, you've had a very long and illustrious professional career. You've been on top, and when we talk about being in a position like this, right, if you are the Paris Legion, obviously from your experience, when you've had a player on the opposite team start to go off, you're kind of coming into a situation where you could be eliminated from a tournament. What do the comms need to be here for Legion? How exactly do they internally kind of get excited or get hyped coming into what could be their final regular season match of the season, right?
So back in the day, it was always the same exact motto for me and all my teammates that I've always played with. It's one map at a time. I know you guys, your backs are against the wall currently. You guys really didn't have a good performance on that map number 3, but it's time to bounce back. You completely got to forget about that. Moving forward, you need to play this hardpoint a lot more professionally, I guess you can say, when it comes to the slaying department. They need to be able to step up and completely forget about that last map. One map at a time is the motto, and as they can do it, it just needs to come out with a beautiful team effort all across the board. It all starts with that one player who's going to be that X factor and step up big for the team to bring the energy up for the Paris Legion, because after that last map, I know their vibe has to be absolutely torched.
I'll be honest with you, Study. I need to pull up the Bluebird. I need to pull up some social media and see if Mama Zed has given some positives to the team. I'll be honest with you, if she pops up in the team speak, I think that she has the ability to light a fire underneath these boys. I don't know about you, but she's been hot on the timeline. That's without question. Like I said, she's had some motivational words, and she's been talking to Zed all throughout the weekend. Hey, now is your time. Just do it. Can they do it here on Hardpoint on Hackney Yard? Their record doesn't indicate a whole lot of success. 2-5 historically? I'll ask you now, Study. I know we kind of talked in our predictions coming into this, but can the Legion bring this one back, or do you think that London close it out here?
If Legion can completely forget about that last map, every single player on the side of the Legion were negative. This is going to be such a fast-paced map. Like I said, they need a player to step up and step up big. It all starts right off the middle, or right off the beginning of the game. Yeah. If one player is able to pop at least a 2 or 3 piece, there goes that energy spark that can possibly chain to the rest of the map. Now, it's all about the rotations here. You have players that are going to be able to fight for this P1 hill, but that Tires hill is so huge on flipping those spawns. Depending on which team spawns on certain sides is the way that the Paris Legion need to play it. It's looking like the London Royal Ravens are going to spawn on the preferred side going into P2. So now it's all about going for the flip if you're the Paris Legion and just keeping up in the slaying department.
And shout out to our observer team doing some great work highlighting the Ravens, as for good reason. They've got the motivation, they've got the hype around them, and it looks as if Legion early, actually after that break, they're going to try to go for a spawn flip. We'll see exactly how this does start to chain things. It looks as if Scrap's still spawning over at Fire, so nonetheless, the Fire in some ways dealt with, put out from the Ravens early, but it definitely got a little bit scary, and that's what we talk about. Tire Shop, it is influential. You see Paris instantly get cut down here in Warehouse, and they instantly try to go for the flip there, stud.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, a couple players spotted out and they realized what the Legion are trying to do. Dens put himself in a great position right there to pick up a 2-piece. Unfortunately, get traded, but they're picking up all this time on P1. The only thing is, when it's time to break that P2 hill, it's going to be really difficult. A lot of kills need to go in favor of the Legion because they are going to consistently spawn back there behind P2 and just keep on flooding it. Now it's all about just picking up these kills. You see Scraps trying to hold them in at this P1 area. Currently have 40 points on the side of Legion. That's a beautiful start. Now it's all about how they're going to try to break this and try to chain a couple more points.
Indeed, in the midst of the break, let's actually go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with the Paris Legion.
Guys. That's it, get the car, get the car.
Shanny's on the copper, Shanny's on the copper, Shanny's on the copper.
It's on fire way at the moment. One shot, one stop green and 2 copper. Ties one shot on the right. On the fence.
Destroy the trophy.
I'll see green window. Green window now. One Zeke, I think. Yeah, he's on the... Cop, dead. Hey, one. Fire car.
Oh, he's gonna make scrap. Alright, get over to the left. That's one green, that's one in green.
Go left, guys. One's mid-crate. Go top scaff. Go top scaff, guys.
One guy jumped over the wall,
Top scaff got me.
He's gonna hit through the right,
Tagged, absolute, man.
Full left, one shot. Maybe UK or something, I don't know.
One shot, full left.
Jumped over.
One green.
Big
Two green. One more green.
Get outside. Good job. I'm playing green with you.
Hey, top scaff.
You watch my crate? P1. Oh, he's already out. He went pin crate. Two mid crate.
Yeah, top
mid dead. Shit on.
P1. By the way, I'm top green.
Bottom house open.
Bottom out, I think.
One top L. They can be pillars.
Yeah, attack. Come on me.
Hill dead.
Nice. 4.
We could have flipped.
Hey, there's one P1. There's 2 P1.
Helping you.
Hey, keep bottom out.
We get to hear the communication coming through from the Legion. They don't really manage to break into tire shop, but nonetheless, they've had a pretty good rotation towards smokestacks so far, trying to get back in this particular hardpoint study. Hear anything influential kind of throughout those comms from the Legion?
I just love the clear-cut comms. You heard Kismet was calling out Zero, going around that far right side of green to try to go for that pinch, to try to spawn them on the preferred side. But the exact way that they were holding this top green building the entire time was such a beautiful hold, especially rotating towards that P4. They held this beautifully, were able to pick up a lot of kills in that situation. Now they're going to be able to chain both of these hard points together. So far, Paris Legion, they're playing this perfect.
You know, and recently on Hackney Hardpoint as well, we've started to see a few teams kind of start to deal with tire shop a little bit better. They've kind of started to more focus on things like Office, things like Smokestack ahead of P5, and you have to realize as well, right, the last 3 hills are going to be with preferred sides, rather kind of the preferred side being where Paris is. So despite, you know, not being able to break into tire shop at times, and more recently from teams like Paris, we've started to see some success. Now, in the midst of this, obviously, as Office begins to come to a close, people trying to set up shop into the dock building. Paris trying to deal with the damage well. London manages to break on in and Scraps, the man who has been on fire all series, does get dropped. Legion, they're set up for next.
That was beautiful plays out of the Paris Legion there. There were 2 players in Shanny and Scraps who were playing for that rotation. I thought Shanny was going to be able to get a great timing there. He was able to take down one, but immediately get traded. Same thing with Scraps. They're going to be able to pick up those kills and hold the spawns for this next hard point. Beautiful positioning out of shock. Still sitting at green, cutting them off. Spawning the players a little farther than they want to be. So now Paris Legion have the chance to take the lead here. All the kills going back and forth, but we should see a lead switch here pretty soon. Luca currently sitting at a 5 kill spree. We're talking about stepping up in the slaying department, and that's exactly what the Legion are doing.
Yeah, the Australian rookie, right? Trying to go big for the team, trying to represent for the Legion. Goes big over at Docks, which is now going to give the Legion the lead without question coming into the second set of rotations. But like we talked about early, the Legion did pretty well at breaking on in back at P1 after the fantastic start from the Ravens. But again, the big emphasis, London, they do have that tire shop. That's the one they're going to be relying on to kind of even up the scoreline, if you will. But Scraps, he's going hunting. He takes down a few in a row. That's going to be 2, possibly 3, as getting some assistance there over on Shocks as well. But good stuff coming in from the Ravens, but nonetheless, the Legion are continually putting in players, trying to be influential here at P1 as they look to try to break on in.
And this is where it could get scary if you are the Paris Legion. You guys need to be able to break this hill and break it soon. But Zero in this position, top L, is going to be able to pick up those kills. Players are going to be pushing from the right side green. It's looking like they're going to be able to get the spawn for P2. This is perfect on the side of Legion. Now, if you're the Royal Ravens, you have to be able to push through this or at least hold the rest of this time. Now you guys are forced to try to break into that tire shop. It's going to be a pretty difficult task because the first time that they were there, they held a full 60. I'm wondering if Paris Legion can do the exact same same thing.
We talked about, I mean, if they can hold 40, you know, they could be at 200 after this. They could be in a wonderful position. It really is going to come down to if the Ravens can break. At the very least, can they contest? As a lot of Raven players starting to drop in the feed, spawning toward the back, and that is going to be the Legion now with Tire Shop in their control. A big opportunity for them to break open this game, as they are being menaces when it comes down to the mid-map. They are being menaces when it comes down to Warehouse as well, but can they rely on players like Scraps? We saw how great he can be. He gets cut down as well. What, that's going to be Dylan on the other end. He gets dropped. There goes Zero. Legion, the first wave is down.
That's such a beautiful hold out of the Legion. They're going to hit that 200-point mark. You're only basically going to need another 40 points to close out this map. They are stepping up in the slaying department, Lando, and it's definitely showing. Now, the same exact way they did on the first rotation of Hardpoints. From P3 to P5, they were picking up a lot of points. Like they did the first time, holding this green, going into that P3 was so huge. You saw Kismet and Shocks making such big kills coming out of this side. Exactly, they're going to try to go for the replica of it again. Here you go, Kismet picking up another kill, top green, currently sitting at 217 points. They need 33 more points to close out this map. Kismet going to go for the play, going to decide to go on top of P5 and go on top of this metal area on the rooftop. Knows the player is going to be top health. Shots are going to go down onto Shanny. Scraps is able to take him down and be able to hold those spawns. Now, Shocks is going to be in the hill. Time is ticking. 30 points remaining for the Paris Legion to be able to close this out. This was going down to the wire.
Oh boy, it absolutely is. It's getting exciting. It's getting interesting. Just a little over 30 away from the Legion from locking this one up. Can they get it done? They're starting to break on forward, and look at that feed. 2 from Kismet, 3 from Zed. Make it 4 from Zed. 5 in a row now. Just less than 15 seconds away from sending us to a game 5. The Battle of Europe is getting extra interesting, and Zed says, you know what, Scraps, you're doing great, but I can be influential as well. Finally gets dropped, but it's only 9 more seconds, and talk about a task that this is going to need to beat from the Ravens if they expect to make this one competitive.
Oh my god, Zed and Kismet stepping up huge for the team. Zed just went on a 6-kill spree. We were talking about it. They needed to step up in that slaying department, and it all started with their 2 submachine gun players. Also, you still have Shocks, who was playing that aggressive sub, currently sitting at 21-8. But the X factors were definitely Kismet and Zed holding it down. We have a map number 5. I can't believe this. This is an insane series, man.
Oh boy, this one is fun. Talk about a game. Talk about a series as the Legion managed to fire back here in the Hackney Hardpoint. Every time we start to kind of talk down on them a little bit, oh, they're coming into the Arkalov S&D, one that London feels confident on. They win it. We come into the Hackney Hardpoint saying London most likely have the ability to close this one out, and Paris respond back again as we look at pretty much the leaderboard here coming into this one. What we see, Kismet 21-24, Shocks 21-18, 25 here from Dens and Zed together. Let that old reciprocity duo trying to hold things down, but my goodness, the Legion, they are showing that they are not a team to go down without a fight. They are still here. They are still firing away, and they are staying alive, and it's impressive, man. We've been talking about them a lot, Study. We've been talking about how Paris, they went on the crazy streak, but again, we talked about the Legion, how great that they have kind of been as of recent, but it hasn't really been all that way, and it could be the fire possibly coming in from Mama Zed, as I think she's still talking on social media. Absolutely love to see the parents kind of getting involved here, but again, Mama Zed saying, Paris Legion, yes, come on, they can do it. Love to see it, man. Like I said, the parents getting involved, I absolutely can't wait to see the tweet if the Legion could come away with this game 5, Study.
Oh my god, I know Mama Zed is sitting there, her hands are closed, and she cannot wait for this map 5 to start.
Definitely. Well, like we said, guys, we've got a wonderful start to Championship Sunday. The Battle of Europe has been absolutely excellent. Paris Legion, London Royal Ravens. It is time for our final match here on Gunrunner. Stick with us as we'll be back right after this.
Want to play Search and Destroy like a pro? Here's some S&D recon from the U.S. Air Force. Gunrunner. It's an industrial maze of dark alleys and warehouses that connects 2 bomb sites on opposite sides of the map. Bomb site A is right outside of the mine shafts, in between the rows of rail cars, while bomb site B is nestled in between the forest and the cargo crates. These 2 bomb sites are each surrounded by a bit of high ground, great for securing long sight lines with snipers and assault rifles. Meanwhile, the many tunnels and buildings connecting the 2 sites offer plenty of close quarters chaos for those with the guts to hit a full speed rush. Whether you're on offense or defense, we've got the recon to help you draw first blood. If you're on offense, securing quick control of mid-map can be huge in opening up a bomb site early in a round. For aggressive early rushes, an SMG is our weapon of choice. As soon as the round starts, run straight for the building in the middle of the map. There's a good chance a player on defense will try and take control of this building for themselves. But if you're on offense, you can get there just a bit faster than your opponents. Let's see how a pro like Scump rushes mid-map on offense. If you want to put pressure on both mid-map and bomb site B, check out this creative route for pro player Hoop. If you're trying to get somewhere fast, try running with a knife equipped. This will double your tactical sprint duration and shave a few seconds off your opening routes. If you're on defense, there's no need to go crazy and run at them. But if you still can't help yourself, check out how Vivid rushes mid-map on defense. If you want to take it a bit slower, try starting at bomb site B and use the terrain to your advantage. If you jump on top of the crates, you'll be able to spot anyone pushing through the forest to bomb site B. If your opponents push up the dirt path, you might not be able to spot them from atop the crates. But check out how pro player Skies catches them with a grenade. After taking his time to line up the grenade, Skies waits until the game timer hits 123, so the grenade lands right on top of the enemy. There's your S&D recon for Gunrunner. Good luck down there.
That was a look at S&D Recon, sponsored by the U.S. Air Force. Oh man, I absolutely love those S&D Recon study. Nameless does a fantastic job showing the folks at home how the pros play some good old Search and Destroy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like Gunrunner is exactly the way Nameless broke it down. That mid-map control. One player that I love to watch on this map is Havoc. The way he's able to maneuver around that middle pipes area, outside of front green, even jumping on top of bathroom roof. He's always making that individual play, just being so aggressive towards mid-map. So I can't wait to see how this lineup is going to be going up against each other. Who's going to fight for that mid-map control? We know that Zed, he plays super aggressive with that submachine gun, and so does Kismet. I'm just wondering what kind of plays they're going to be able to bring out, because both of these teams are dominant on this map when it comes to record-wise. You have London sitting at 6-3, Paris at 4-1. The only difference is when it comes to game 5s, London is 6-2 or 6-3, and then Paris is 2-2. So that's where that's all going to come down to me. Who's going to be able to fight for that mid-map control, and who's going to be able to dominate it?
Shout out to Bryce Tacular, Brycey on Twitter. He talked about how if this goes to Game 5, the Copper Box would have absolutely been destroyed. I tell you what, man, like I said, we're having a lot of fun online as well, but nonetheless, excited to see how the Battle of Europe comes to a close for the final time of the regular season, and we're hopping on with Zed to kick this offensive off for the Legion. The pistol from the corner, can Wiskin finish it off? He does, but Dens is instantly there to pick up for his old reciprocity duo. Dylan in the Mask of the Smoke. We talk about how influential that he can be, how problematic he can be. Hanging out in green as Kismet looks toward water side. No one there. Scraps there for the pick, but gets shut down. In the midst of all this taking place, Shox is going for the plant, but can Zero make a play? He finds the first, but does get dropped as the Legion. They walk away with their first round and their first offensive victory.
Beautiful round out of Zed. You saw that aggression up towards that bomb site. Was able to catch Shanny laying down towards the right side by this tree area. Easy first blood. He was trying to go for that bomb plant. Wuskins goes for the trade with that pistol. He gets traded out. Numbers advantage go in favor of the Paris Legion. Dylan was in such a great position there, sitting in green. Shox was able to spot him and shut that play down completely. What a great round out of the Paris Legion there.
Indeed, good stuff from Legion early. So we'll see what London is aiming to do for their first offensive. Sometimes you're going to see some crazy plays, and that may be what the Legion was intending on, as they send 3 over to A without question. The less likely of the 2 bomb sites, just based off positioning, and there's Wuskin already being influential with the sniper. And it's such a great line sight as well, as that can very much clear things out for the objective man of Zero.
Kismet is in such a great position here. Is he going to be able to spot one and take him down? Luca with a big nade onto Zero there to take him down. Now in a 4v3 situation in favor of the London Royal Ravens, Scraps is going to be able to take down Luca. 4v2. Kismet and Dens have a lot on their plate here. If they're going to try to bring this round back, they're going to have to chain a couple kills together. You see Wuskins with that sniper pistol. It's just going to go for the bomb. He's the most reliable player to pick up that bomb and go for the plant. 25 seconds remaining on the clock. This is going to be a difficult task at hand. Kismet's going to go down. 4v1 for Dens. He's probably going to go for a couple kills here. If I was Dens, though, I would just give up the kills. I wouldn't even want to try to. Going in, Running Roy Ravens tied up 1-1.
I just checked the socials real quick. Study. Mama Zed said, Paris Legion, don't give this away. Absolutely love to see it. Paris Legion responded to that and said, if Mama Zed said so, we have to do this. They've got the hype. His offense continues to be the focal point here for both of our teams. That's really just the way that Gunrunner plays. But nonetheless, the Legion now back in a position I'm sure they're happy with. That's a nice little line sight from Luca. Don't see that one all that often, but maybe another one for Nameless to add to the SMD recon as the bathrooms we go. And Scraps is the one trying to stall things out, but Kismet, nonetheless, is trying to be a nuisance here in green, as they don't really have as much map positioning as I'm sure that they would like to. A lot of things still to clear out, but we still have a minute on the clock to do it. As the tires go flying, Shanny actually does have enough of an angle to go for the side peek, and at least can provide some information to his teammates in terms of where they could be. The sniper again, problematic. As Wuskin, the first one to strike some blood, and Shiny's going to be there. Finds the pick and instantly escapes. Great defensive pressure coming through from the Ravens as Legion, time starting to tick away. They have to grab the bomb. They have to get this plan off here shortly, but the only problem is that Wuskins is hiding away. He does get shot at, has to back up. Shanny finding another pick. 3-1 so far to start off this search and destroy. Can the retake be imminent as the plant is in? They're going to wait for Zero to pretty much join alongside them. And historically, based on the way this normally works, you like their chances of it, but Kismet tries to escape, not able to do so. It's all on Luca, and look at this line side. Look at the positioning. No one's going to be here for the instant challenge, but the smoke gets tossed out. Does he have the angle? Does he have the angle? He does! He's got the angle, but they know exactly where he is. He manages to at least silence one already. Can he find another? Shuts down Zero. Time starting to tick away. And as long as he can get the player on the defuse, it will be a round as Luca clutches this one up and gives Legion their second round.
What a round out of Luca there. It was a battle. I was watching that minimap the entire start of that round there. It was Zero who was camping that late flank that pushed through to that A bomb site. Luca waited for his dead silence and immediately just hit that flank. Came up behind one player, pushed right in the bathroom, played his life perfectly. Then he put himself in a great 2v1 situation. He played that clock beautifully. Realized that there was only 15 seconds on the clock. He got a couple shots into both of them. He realized that one player eventually needed to hop the bomb in one player challenge. He read the player that challenge, able to gun him. Shanny had no chance of defusing that bomb. What a round out of Luca there. Hopefully they're able to chain a couple more as Wuskins is just putting on a clinic with his sniper. But the favor is going to go in in favor of the Paris Legion when it comes to the number advantage.
M4s are hot early. Zero realizes a vacant bomb. Pretty nice for me. Granite gets the team jersey, a little bit grassy, but hey, nonetheless, stains mean you did something, right? Players running through the smoke, Luca blind, but nonetheless, at least manages to clear some things out. But Shanny, again, another influential kill, as that's now going to be 5-1 for him. Tosses out the trophy just to make himself a little bit more comfortable, and in the meantime, Zero's finding players from behind. Shocks manages to find the first, and now we've got ourselves a lovely 1 versus 1. The more you can distance yourself for the Legion, the better. Here comes the challenge. Can Shocks walk away with it? But Zero hops on the box and he stays alive, wins the 1 versus 1. And what a situation that is for Zero, as we'll get to watch this again. Gets tagged up, utilizes the box, and stays alive. What a play from Trey there, as that will make the Ravens keep things even.
Oh, man, and that would have been such a scary round for the Ravens, and then if they ended up losing that offense, you can already tell both teams have won both offensive rounds on both sides. I feel like it's going to be the first team who's going to be able to win that defensive round, is going to be able to open this map wide open. Now we see a slow push from the Paris Legion. They're all basically going to be sitting in this mid-map pipes area. A nade from Weskins is going to connect on someone in the connector area. Just gets a hit marker. So now they have a player who's going to be sitting inside the crates, which is going to be Dylan, just being that X factor that he needs to be, in a great position now. Time is ticking. You see Zero in that same position that he played the round before. Luca was trying to go for that flank, but this time Scrap reads it, gets that first blood. Shocks with the trade. 4v4 situation now. It's looking like the Paris Legion are going to decide to try to wrap this bomb back and go back out towards B, but it's looking like they're just going to go straight forward towards A. As soon as Zero gives up his position, they're just going to decide to push it. Zero is on the rotation. I don't think that he's going to be able to gain any information. Both of the players are able to sneak by. Bomb carrier is probably going to get a lot of sights on the Zero. 25 seconds remaining. Bomb's going to go down. Zero, he might have the play here. He can put himself in a great position. Scraps by the train area, knows that the bomb is planted. Dylan with the first blood to take him down. Now in a 4v3 situation retake, Dylan with 2. We were just talking about it. He was currently 0-3. Now he's starting to come alive for his team. This might be that defensive round that they need. If the Paris Legion can clutch this one up, this is going to be a pretty difficult task. Shocks is able to take off Scraps off bomb. 20 seconds remaining. 3v1 for Shocks. And just like that, Dylan with 3 on the round. I thought it was going to be bad timing out of Zero and the Roy Ravens, but they were just able to execute that A retake. Beautiful round out of them.
If I get the retake, you've been kind of calling it out, Study. The first team that can win a defense, it would be important. It'd be influential. London managed to do it there. Shanny with a big kill at the end, but that kind of sets up Ravens for a great situation here, right?
Yeah, definitely, especially going into this offensive round. This is an offensive-based map. Usually, you're able to push it towards that B bomb, get it down, hold your spawn, and basically win the round. That's so far how the story has been told. But with that big defensive round, it was a great adjustment out of Scraps. He did not let Luca flank there, was able to pick up that first blood. I thought Zero, when he went for that repositioning, it was going to cost him in the end, but they were able to win that defensive round. Now, you see Kismet trying to be aggressive towards that B bomb, but all the other players on the side of Legion are pushing into this pipes area. That number 3 player, which is Dylan, is going to be holding this flank. He has multiple angles that he needs to be able to watch here. He's just going to decide to reposition himself and make sure he puts himself in a better position not to die. Kismet is in such a powerful position here. He cannot die. He's the only player playing at this B bomb. A player is pushing into green. Shocks has a great positioning. Now, they have lost a man advantage, but he's able to tie it up and force it into a 4v4.
Indeed they do. London somewhat slowed up for the time. Paris doing a great job at providing some assistance and collective effort in the mid-map. And you see Zero so carefully walking up through forest. Who could be around some of these timbers? Who could be right around the corner? It's Dylan, but it's Kismet at the same time. Time starting to tick away. Dylan, an influential piece as the bomb needs to get planted. Thankfully it will. Does get cut down from the flank, so Dens and Zed left up versus Shanny and Wuskin. A little bit of a reunion, if you will, and Wuskin's making players pay, and so will Shanny. as that will be a huge round for the London Royal Ravens to take. What comes down to a 2 versus 2. The Ravens clutch up, and they win their offense.
I would have liked to see the Legion play that a little quicker on the flank. They had that man advantage, but obviously they cannot see what we see. But they know that that flank is usually wide open, or if it's not, it's usually one player that's going to be watching it. Wuskins is dominating with the sniper on this map. I thought when it was put into a 2v2 situation right there, it would be really difficult because they know Wuskins. He will be playing in the back of that warehouse area, just trying to get that angle to make sure they're not defusing that bomb. But he was able to hit a beautiful shot to force it into a 2v1. They're opening up this map. They only need 2 more rounds to win. Paris Legion, they need to answer, and they need to answer quick.
They absolutely do, and this could be their chance. This could be their opportunity to swing round, to say the least. But Wuskin having an answer. Can he find the third as Kismet's trying to play the time? He hears the reload. He hears the steps. And Wuskin's going to go for the challenge. Can he walk away with it? He does. Wuskin shutting down the Legion. Manages to eat the nade as well. Part of this balanced breakfast for a dominant player like him. As time, though, starting to tick away. Dens, he's trying to catch a possible defuse. Scraps on the flank. Can't shut down Luca, though. And Luca in a prime position. Wuskin trying to walk away with the kill. Manages to do so, but the time is starting to tick away. And Luca, the Paris Legion, despite the early round heroics from Wuskin, managed to stay alive and hold off this influential swing round.
I love the switch up of pace right there from the Legion. They immediately went for that bomb plant. They know that offense is such a big thing on this map. They made the play come to them. This is unbelievable how this map is playing out so far. Now, if you're the London Royal Ravens, you are favored because you're currently on offense. You can go up 5-3 right here with another flawless offensive push. I'm wondering how the Legion are going to decide to play this because they basically lost every single one of their defensive rounds. So they need to be able to answer, and they're probably going to do the same exact play that they went for last time, which is 3 players pushing through this 8 bomb site. They're trying to get to that train control and just force Kismet to be by himself, that lone wolf. And this is what I prefer. You see the pace switch up. They're all just immediately gonna hit the flank. I love this. You see Dylan, he's gonna be sitting in pipes, but 2 players already made it through the flank. You probably have Wuskin sitting with a sniper. No, he's gonna be running that M4. So now he has a perfect angle to take down 2. He's gonna be able to put down 1. Now he knows that Luca cross. Luca's gonna open a challenge, take him down. Now in a 3v3 situation, this is such a huge round for the Legion. 40 seconds remaining on the clock. Kismet is going to decide to just play his life and back up. His teammates have all the information that they need sitting on the back of that train track area. You see number 6. He saw the player push across. Now he's immediately going to try to go for this pinch. Hopefully all the players on the side of Ravens are watching over. There you see Shanny with the kill on Kismet. Now in a 2v2. Shanny and Dylan versus Luca and Zed. Luca and Zed need to go big here. Zed is in a great position. He's going to be able to take down 1. 1v2 for Dylan. Dead silence is popped. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Dylan's going to be able to take down 1. Get out with his life. Is he going to be able to spot him? And Luca with the big 1v1 to tie the map up 4-4.
Luca, the Legion legend, as they'll be writing stories about that round. Unbelievable ending. As this one just continues to get more and more interesting, and I'm not going to jinx it, but this one is definitely coming down to the wire. My word. And you were calling it, Study. You said this is a massive round for Paris, considering the fact that they were on defense. We saw London grab the early defense, kind of gave them the advantage. The Legion managed to respond back at just the time when they need to. The Battle of Europe. It's been fun, and it's only going to continue to get this way. Bomb in the hands of Kismet to start this bad boy off, and Shanny, who has been so great over at these crates. See if he can maybe find another pick, and yes, he does, right when you call on him. He's there to be Mr. Consistent, 10 and 4, and a lot of those have been round-deciding kills that are going to influence the game. No question about it. You see Legion having a few players issued over at A, but it looks as if the bomb planter, or rather the bomb carrier in Kismet, does get cut down.
Shanny is opening up the map here on this rock position by this crates area. He was able to pick up the first 2 kills, plant that trophy on himself, give himself a little bit of extra protection. Now it's on the Paris Legion. They must know he's right around this corner. There goes Zed. He's going to be able to take down on to Shanny. Now 30 seconds remaining. Bomb is currently down front bathrooms. They need to grab it. And here comes Watkins turning the corner. Now in a 3v2 situation, Luca and Denz need to make a play quick. He's right around the corner. Den's gonna be able to pick up bomb. Shots for Watkins are not gonna be able to come in. Here comes Dylan with the trade. 2v1 for Luca. He needs the bomb plant. And as I say that, the trades come in for the Royal Ravens. They win another defensive round. And that might be just the opening they needed to win 2 defensive rounds on a map like Gunrunner.
Oh boy. The London Royal Ravens. They clean it up. They clutch up. And we'll see what they can do here now on offense. The preferred side, a map that has given them so much success previously. What's the call? How do you respond to this if you are the Legion? 12-6 for Luca. Definitely has been fantastic for this team, but you see 11-5 from Shanny, 11-6 from Wiskin. A number of different players to be influential, but talk about influential. This round has the ability to be that. Luca, again, when called upon, is answering at the perfect moment. And if they're, and rather, if you're London right now, you're kind of pretty much in the back of the map. You're hanging on, and you're looking to try to find a pick just to get over to this bomb site here, Study.
I don't like the way that the London Royal Ravens are playing this. They're completely giving up all map control. All the players from the Paris Legion are just playing so aggressive towards mid. You see Watkins trying to put a couple decoy shots down to try to get an angle with that sniper. 35 seconds remaining on the clock. You see that number 0 in Zed. He's looking like he's waiting for that late flank, but that number 1 player in Scraps is also waiting for him as well. Scraps is going to hit that rotation. He understands he needs to help his teammates work for this bomb plant. I think Shawnee's going to be able to spot Luca. Is going to be able to take him down now in a 4v4 situation. Scraps able to take down shots. I expect Zed to come through connector, pick up at least 2. Watkins with the big sniper. Zed is in a great position, but the bomb is going to get planted. Zed's going to be able to take... Oh, bomb's not planted. Zed was able to take him down. Zed with the big 2. Oh my God, we have a round 11.
My word, the Paris Legion... Defense or offense, we talk about preferred sides. Screw it, it doesn't matter anymore. Throw it out the window. The Battle of Europe does not care about typical round placements and preferred sides. It is round 11. We asked for it, we got it. Championship Sunday getting off to a wonderful start. Can the Ravens get to another grand final? Can the Legion get to their first ever grand final after being in the position they were just a few months ago, a few weeks ago? Look at those round 11 stats. Preferred for the Legion without question, and look at this early plant. Kismet typing in the digits early, gets the bomb down, and now it's going to be on the Ravens. 40 seconds left to work with, and this is going to be a quick one. Zed just around the corner. He wants to play patient. He doesn't want to give his position away, but who's going to give their position out first? Denz with the nade. Zed with the kill. Wiskin 0. They respond back with 2 of their own, and Wiskin, he has to hop in the corner. The smoke is out. The vision is blind. Kismet finds another. It's all on to 0 and Wiskin, and there goes 0. Takes down 1. Also Shocks on the rock. Manages to take down 1 as well. Time starting to tick away, and the Legion, they get it done. The Legion at the end, they close out the round 11. They win here on the offense, and for the first time in the CDL, the Legion are headed to a grand final after what was looking like a dry spell for them. You see the emotion, and congratulations to those boys. They stunned the Ravens at their own home series.
That is unbelievable. Both Search and Destroys went down to a round 11, but the Legion, with that pace change up in the middle of that map, they were down 4-2, went on to win 2 rounds straight by just changing up that pace. And you see Kismet, he said, I'm going to plant this bomb. They are playing the same kind of defensive every single round, and they played it beautifully. Forced the play to come to them. Paris Legion, with the mid-game adjustments, just completely took words out of my mouth. I cannot believe, but the Paris Legion are going to the finals.
Oh my God, man. The Legion. Who would have thought? Mama Zed, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not downing you ever again, as she is the prophet. My goodness, the Legion. It's unbelievable to say. It's crazy to think about, and we got to reflect back. Let's go and take a look at our scuff play of the game, and it is going to be this round 11. Study, walk me through it, buddy.
Oh my God, it all started with that pace change immediately. The round starts a minute and 30, Kismet goes up to the bomb. A minute 15, the bomb's already going down. But he didn't do it by himself. As you saw Zed tuck himself away into these crates area. Once they were able to open it up with 2, it forces the Royal Ravens to try to go out and get those trays. Eventually, they tried to tie it up. Zero almost went huge with that huge 2-piece at the end, but Shox was able to go for the trade. Luca was in a beautiful position at that connector. Just that pace change, man. They made the play come to them, and I love that out of the Legion. They were not afraid to attack on that offense. They did not play scared. They played to their strength. Kismet was that playmaker right there at the end. He planted the bomb, was able to back down, pick up 1 kill, then stay alive on that rock area for as long as he possibly could for his teammate to come and help him, and then eventually turned it into a 5v3. Like I said, man, the Paris Legion, man, with those mid-game adjustments throughout that map were just so spectacular, man, and congratulations to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Massive congratulations to those guys. They absolutely deserve it. But I'll tell you what, man, I think we've been kind of talking in the in the online green room, as we've called it. We've been talking like, could the Legion make the finals? They're looking good at different moments. They're playing consistent, and they clutch up, which is really what it's all about, Study. I mean, we talk about it on the day. It's really Call of Duty on the day sometimes can decide absolutely everything. The team that clutches up just happens to be the team that walks away with it. Fantastic stuff coming through from the Paris Legion, as they are going to be in their first ever grand finals. But in the midst of this, we talk about a number of different things, kind of influential players to be looking out for. We also have to talk about our postseason as well. We talk about the pro side. We also got to talk about it on the challenger side. Of course, Call of Duty Challengers presented by PS4. We do have a new Challengers postseason format, which will include a last chance qualifier event as well as a finals event. All competitions will take place online in 3 regions. That's North America, Europe, and APAC, with a combined prize pool of $500,000. Awesome to see when it comes down to the Challenger side, getting tons of support. And we talk about one of those events, like we said, it's going to be the last chance qualifier, which is going to be taking place on Saturday, August 1st, as well as Sunday, August 2nd. Signups are officially live. And a qualifier, right? Top 24 Challenger point teams go straight to the finals event. 8 teams have to qualify via LCQ. The same kind of applies for the EU side as well. And APAC, top 12 Challenger points teams go straight to the finals event, with 4 teams to qualify via LCQ as well. And obviously, we talked about the last chance qualifier. We also have to talk about the finals. Challenger finals, it's going to be electric. August 15th through the 16th. Rosters that did auto-qualify for finals are based on rosters from the last Challengers event, which is going to be the Toronto Home Series tournament. It's going to be awesome to watch. Top 32 teams from North America will be in a double elimination bracket for $250,000. Top 32 from EU for $200K, and top 16 from APAC will also play in a double elimination bracket for $50,000. Study, I've had the opportunity to cast a few Challenger Cups. It's been absolutely amazing to see the talent, but as we kind of reflect on this series, man, excited to see what the Paris Legion can do, as I know we'll be talking to them here shortly, but man, just give me your reaction right now. Paris in a grand final, it's crazy to think about, but they've done it.
After that map 3, when they got absolutely destroyed by Scraps, you asked me what they needed to do going into that map 4, and that was completely forget about it. And that's exactly what they did. They went into that hardpoint on Hackney, and they dominated. And then an unbelievable search and destroy. I'm pretty sure that puts them at 7-2 in round 11s, but just an unbelievable performance out of Paris. I know there was only 4 people who had them, but congratulations to them.
Absolutely. Now that sets up our PlayStation instant reaction with Zed of the Paris Legion. We're about to see it. Stay tuned.